Derivative Jill.
Can I offer you some tea?
Good tea. Nice house.
Would you make me some of that Plomeek soup?
Hey, hello and welcome to Plomeek Teatime number 48. I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and I love to celebrate science fiction. Some of it I know, and some of it I'm watching for the first time. And to that, I just saw Robinson Crusoe on Mars for the first time.
As primitive as can be.
Yeah, I did think of the Gilligan's Island Inn song too. Several months back, I heard a review about it on Clobby's Clubhouse given by Raquel Briggs, and I thought about wanting to see this movie ever since. And so I'm so happy I finally saw it. And also here with me today is Scotty R37, who also watched this incredibly fun movie, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say about it.
I know. I'm looking forward to it myself.
Before seeing this film last night, I saw years ago a similar movie called The Martian, and that also deals with the challenges of isolation and desolation on Mars. But Robinson Crusoe did it first on Mars. And it was a joy to watch from beginning to end. I didn't feel the runtime of this movie really until I realized the movie was almost over. I never really got around to reading Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe, but I really loved this. So, and I'm also happy to see Franco Walker today. Hello, Franco Walker.
Ahoy.
He says, if I have seen this, it was a very long time ago. All I remember is the title.
I had never seen this before, and I was surprised. Like when the Plomeek Tea Times arrive, and it's like we're watching this. Sometimes there's collaboration. Sometimes Jill and I discuss it beforehand. But this was on her list, and it was on her list with a bullet. And it was like we're watching this, and I was like, "Oh, yes, ma'am." And so I looked it up on the IMDb's, and I was like, Adam West, and so I got very, very excited.
Yeah,
So
me too.
I was looking forward to this. I thought, and again, I'm sort of in your camp. I've never read Robinson Crusoe. And so I don't know. I think that it's a play on words, sort of a parallel. I don't know. I want to say it's an adaptation, but I don't even think like a self-aware adaptation, but I don't even think that I have no facts to back this up.
Well, clearly, since he's not just on the island, it's not going to be any kind of word for word thing. It's probably just a few references and the basic spirit of having to live alone and survive.
Well, to also be stranded on an island. The island this time is named Mars.
Mm-hmm. And the character named Friday must also be in those books because that's where the reference is made within the movie.
There's a self-awareness, yeah.
Ariba Bell says, I saw this in theater, first run.
Wow. And this is a great like theater movie. This is a like for 1964 special effects science fiction. When watching it, I was taken by, I don't know, naive science fiction. This is pre 2001. This is before. It almost feels like an Irwin Allen production. It looks like a television production, and maybe it's because we do have Adam West. There's amazing cinematography throughout the movie, and
Yes.
looking at it, there's like fire pillars that are crazy. Also, I think that this monkey was mistreated.
It's possible there was a sort of kind of thing that they used to do where they would we don't have any proof that he was mistreated, but sometimes to train animals they did withhold food until the thing they wanted to happen happened, and then they fed the animal just to get the reaction that they wanted, and that's not good. But there's other ways to get the same reactions that I'm sure that are employed today. That hopefully people aren't doing that. And I'm
Well,
just
yeah.
I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing because I don't know for sure. I'm just speaking.
No,
Out of,
I'm just saying based on the
I have no idea.
performance
Yes.
of the woolly monkey.
Yeah. Yes. At the beginning of the movie, the monkey just really seems upset and uncomfortable, and that's what they wanted to portray.
I
But
guess.
after a certain point, he was a lot happier, though. He wasn't mistreated the whole movie, at least. If he was.
No, the monkey, he was playing a woman. This is the first transgendered monkey in film
Okay,
history.
no, it's transvestite monkey.
Gendered.
There's a different. No, not transgendered, because he's not
Still a man
actually.
monkey
He's still a man monkey. He was just wearing furry shorts.
to cover up his his monkey junk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so he's just a cross-dressing monkey.
Well, playing a role, like, come on. The woolly monkey was an actor playing as a lady. Linda Hunt played a man in The Years of Living Dangerously. So I don't see this as being. This is groundbreaking, is what I'm saying.
Sure. Hello to Pop Culture Curator.
Hey, Pop.
And Pop Culture Curator says, I like this movie. Many movies and TV shows ripped off this trope.
Which ultimately had ripped off Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah, and to great effect. I enjoy it.
Like, can you imagine if they made Castaway on Mars? Well, they did. It's called The Martian.
Yes. Yes. When I look at this movie, before I watched it, I was thinking of Castaway.
I do want to just highlight one thing, because Frank Walker says Batman. And I do enjoy Batman. So, yes, thank you.
Me too.
And then also what Ari Bavel was saying is, big screen is a whole different experience. Absolutely. When you go into a theater and you sit down and you watch, and you're there for the duration, because it's the entire reason that you bought the ticket. Absolutely. You watch it. And I think this is great, but also because it says Robinson Crusoe on Mars, I feel like it's an after the fact, because we've already watched Forbidden Planet, which is the adaptation of another literary work, The Tempest, I think.
Oh, yes. Shakespeare. Yes, that makes sense.
And yes, so we have The Tempest and Robinson Crusoe.
But they were smart enough not to call their movie Tempest in Space. Because that's kind of like how they titled this movie, Robinson Crusoe on Mars. So maybe they could have called this movie something else that might have made, because it ended up flopping. So maybe if they named it something different, it would have been more successful.
But it's so interesting that this was a flop, because like the production value and like I do noticed a lot of cheese, like sort of early 60s science fiction adventure kind of BS.
It's kind of difficult for me to determine what's cheese or not, because I wasn't living back then to tell what effects are cheesy and which ones are state of the art, because this looks pretty cool to me.
But if you compare this to, say, Forbidden Planet, which one do you think is better?
Well, Forbidden Planet is obviously superior because of how clean it is. Like it looks like I could step right onto that planet and I'd really be there. So,
and the surface of Mars is sort of presented in, I would say, a lower budget presentation. Like they did this in Death Valley.
Yes, they were in Death Valley. That's right.
Which is great if you want to film an alien planet. It's no Vasquez rocks, but what else?
It works. Yeah, and it was
shot
West mostly.
Cagle.
Oh, hi, West Cagle. Yeah, it was shot at Zabriskie Point in Death Valley National Park, California.
And I think they really do a good job of combining the terrestrial locations with the matte paintings and the special effects that sort of like paint the horizon.
Yeah, the matte
sky.
paintings are done by Albert Whitlock, which didn't he do some Star Trek too?
Star Trek 2?
No, not Star Trek 2. The original series matte paintings.
I'm not
Star
sure.
Trek as well. You know, I remember his name in the 365 book. He's done some matte paintings for Star Trek, I'm pretty sure.
You know, the last time I heard a person say that there is a difference between to and as well, it was Mr. Wizard. He was like, you can't say it was 22 2 because that, you know, it's confusing. You have to say it's 22 as well.
In addition
to that, however. Anyway, we get the meteor that causes the ship to, you know, go cuckoo bananas, essentially. Like, they're in trouble, and they're just
their
gonna...
buttons.
I do like the buttons.
Yeah, they are in trouble because of the meteor. They're being pulled into the planet of Mars.
Mm-hmm. So they all have to leave. But the thing is that the ship keeps orbiting.
Yeah, for the whole movie.
Yeah, until you know, Don Draper blows it up.
Oh, right.
It's not Don, but I'm going to pretend.
His name is Draper, though, so I was confused for a bit. It's Christopher Draper.
All right.
Commander Christopher Draper.
Descendant of Mad Men lead character Donald Draper.
Sure, why not?
Why not?
They mispronounce NASA in this movie.
NASA.
NASA. They say no. Yeah, they say NASA. That's something that just stood out to me. There's no reason why I really have to mention it.
Colonel Mackenzie calling NASA. NASA, come in now.
Oh, Dan McCready, yes.
Is it Dan? He's Colonel McCready.
The gravity of the planet's pulling us towards it. And so they're using all their fuel to get out of there. And that's why they can't control the ship later. It's because all the fuel was expended in the escape.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I was making sort of fun of the nature of the science of this film. However, Jill, you sent me a bunch of stuff that said, nope, this is actually what they thought at the time of the production. This is what they thought. They use sort of capsule landers, which is cool. This was heralded as being scientifically plausible at the time of its recording.
Yeah, they did their best to make it as believable as they could. Obviously, it's a fictional story, so they can stretch things here and there in terms of the
cavemen,
science.
Aliens.
Right.
It does turn into schlock. But for a long time. Like, and this is, like, for 1964, this is a long movie. An hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah, it's a long movie, but I didn't feel it at all.
Oh, no.
But to the point that you're saying that it was advertised as being scientifically accurate, because they did think that you might be able to breathe on Mars. But
is there life on Mars?
But in this movie was made in 1964. But in 1965, Mariner 4 brought back the first images of Mars, showing that it's a rocky, dead planet.
Not on fire constantly.
No fire, no.
Oh, this is our main character.
Atmosphere.
This is Don Draper. Like, check that out. That pillar of fire is pretty impressive. Like, and this isn't a remaster. This is original special effects.
Oh, right. If you're watching this movie, it's a ball of fire that zooms past him.
Well, no, not the ball of fire that zooms past him. That looks kind of cheese. That is kind of cheese.
It anyway, though.
I know. And they're always flicking their switches, getting the air off and on. Later on, they drink air like it's Gatorade.
Yeah, they do.
So who plays Chris Draper?
Played by...
I'm sorry, I should have these answers.
Oh, he's played by Paul Manty.
And he's great. Like, he carries this movie. I went in looking forward to a lot of Adam West, And don't worry, we get a little more Adam West later.
Just a little.
But we get Manti.
Well, apparently the director, what's his name? The director Ryan Haskin hired this guy, Paul Manti, because he resembled Alan Shepard, who was the first American in space.
Oh. Well, and this was anticipated to be a big hit because in 1964 they were hungry for science fiction or something. And apparently it was like 11, this Manti fella who does a great job. I forget his first name. I'm just going to keep calling him Chris Draper. Chris Draper, like, he was like, we didn't work for a while. This kind of killed our career for a couple of months, almost a year.
Yeah, that's right. 11 months. 11 months he was without work.
Because of that Robinson Crusoe on Mars monkey movie. Like, look at that pillar of fire.
It literally
looks
is
amazing.
a monkey movie. You use that as a term quite a bit, but it's literally a monkey movie.
His main sidekick. This is almost like, and I don't like to speak of the Smith that is Will, but like I Am Legend, his only companion for a long time is Mona the monkey. Mona, supposedly a woman, but not played by a man. Like, weren't there enough women monkeys in Hollywood to give a role to?
That's
like,
what
what
I
is
was
with
wondering
monkey
about.
sexism? Maybe
No
maybe
clue.
women monkeys are more unruly.
I don't know. I would think
Like just
not.
in the species, maybe the men are more docile.
He was just the closest monkey they had available, and they just grabbed him. I have no clue.
But an actual woolen monkey.
So Paul Manti says, when I got Robinson Crusoe on Mars, I had been doing a series of heavies on TV. Come out or the girl dies. Lines like that. Yeah. So.
Well, and let's not forget, Chris Draper, he's sort of reckless. Now, at the time, Mars had been theorized to having a thin oxygen atmosphere. But as soon as I saw Mr. Draper open up his helmet, I was like,
is there air? You don't know.
Like, I was yelling so hard, and I was like, it made me so angry. I was just like, this is ridiculous. This is the worst space exploration I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, a year later, you would have been right as soon as we proved what Mars was really like.
Which is why I had to sort of put it in historical context of the understanding of the science fiction writers at the time. What is Mars like? Well, the surface is on fire. Where else did the fire start from except for the abundance of oxygen? That has to be a thing. And so it all sort of fits until, 1965 found out that Mars is not made out of cheese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mars isn't made out of cheese. Who thought Mars was made out of cheese? I thought that was.
I was transposing the moon cheese thing.
Okay, so Paul says, when I first heard about Robinson Crusoe on Mars, I was collecting unemployment under the table and working 3 days a week as a host at a restaurant where they'd give me $50 and all I can eat.
That's not a bad deal.
Yeah. And so when his agent called him, he said, "You're putting me on. There is no movie called Robinson Crusoe on Mars. What kind of name is that?" Go. Okay, so he went, and yeah, so it was a real movie. And here it is.
Like, it just, I don't know. There's something about watching this movie and seeing them peel. What's his rank?
Commander. He's a
Commander
commander.
Draper. Like, seeing Commander Draper pull off his gloves and like walk around on Mars in a t-shirt. It's like, it does strain credulity.
Well, it does because, he mentions that the air isn't good enough to breathe very much. And
yeah,
so
you got like 15 minutes of thin air before you have to get the good air.
Mm. And he was selected among 75 other actors.
So kryptonite, dilithium, many rare ores.
Yeah.
But like, and again, I think that the context of having seen Robinson Crusoe or read the book Robinson Crusoe would inform the pleasure of the movie. I'm kind of intrigued to read Robinson Crusoe now. Now, I know everyone is saying, Scott, you don't know how to read. And that's true, but maybe I'll get the audiobook.
Yeah. Yeah, you could listen to it. I like to read it because I can get lost in the book a lot easier if I'm actually reading it, but if I don't have time for it, an audiobook helps with the time management. You can listen while you're driving.
Also, I would like to say that if you have not seen Robinson Crusoe on Mars, every scene happens like twice or 3 times to reinforce the sort of isolation.
It doesn't feel like
Yes, it
padding
does.
though, not to me.
You know what? And I was considering this while we were watching it, and it's like, is it padding or is it building the sort of isolation and the survival aspects of it? Like, we don't have the benefit of cutting back to Earth and seeing what the rescue mission is going to look like, i.e., the Martian.
And this is the part of the movie where he finds that
Adam West. This is Adam West.
Yeah, yeah, this is Adam West. This is McCready. He's gone.
Kapla, bird of prey.
Hey, Kapla, bird of prey. I didn't.
Should we check in with the chat before we start mourning the dead people?
Okay. Well, let's just look at the dead person's family.
Okay.
Yes.
Homely wife. It's Adam West, for the love of Pete. Couldn't you get like someone better looking?
I think she's all right.
All right. Hello, West Kegel.
Yeah, hello, West Kegel. And
Phantom
the Phantom Boomer Explorer says the butler did it. Oh. The butler who was hiding somewhere on the capsule.
He buttles.
Franco Walker says they had a lot of science wrong in the 1960s. Yeah, and so it wasn't on purpose. It was just because it was the 1960s.
Well, and that's Jill and Franco, thank you for bringing this up. This is a thing that I sometimes get ornery about, is that, like, I think that there is a lot more understood about the universe in the 1960s than actually was. Like, I think, because there are people who question the moon landing, and I'm like, no, I think they actually did. Call me a moon land.
I know they definitely.
I'm on board with humanity landed on the moon. Happy days. But there are people who are like, oh no, that never happened because they didn't have the technology. And why can't we recreate it? And so when it comes to the understanding of even our own solar system in the 1960s, I kind of thought that there was a pretty good idea as to what was going on. And in research for this, apparently, like, not so much. It's like, no, there's air on Mars. There are pools of water, liquid water.
Well, the same was true for Venus. We couldn't explore Venus yet.
Well, that's because the Russians got there first.
Was that it was cloudy, and so
with a chance of meatballs?
Yeah, so we didn't know what was there, so we just figured, oh, there must be dinosaurs and all these. Your imagination goes wild when you can't really collect the information and data that you actually need to know what it's actually like on these worlds. So until we actually sent a spacecraft to actually explore these places, all you could do is guess.
But I maybe I overestimate the scientific achievements of the mid-60s.
They did. At least the movie does know about the polar ice caps on Mars.
True.
So there are things that they portrayed things as best they could from the knowledge that they had. It's the moon that's made out of cheese, Scotty. Get your facts right.
There are different varieties
Okay.
of cheese. Obviously, the moon is made of Swiss, and Mars is made of cheddar. It's good to see you, Bone.
Oh yeah, hello, Bone. Hello from work. TGIF.
To gift to you.
Yeah. Thank God it's Friday. Robinson Crusoe, the guy from Gilligan's Island, says Bird of Prey
Primitive
5.
as can be.
Yes. Yeah, and the end sequence. Listening from work, says Sandra. I thought this was a fun movie. I did too. Oh no, he's gonna shoot the monkey. No, don't shoot the monkey.
Like, shock the monkey. But yeah, this is the thing, is that it seemed like it was a taken for granted that Mars had some sort of oxygen atmosphere, which was the popular thought at the time. But I was like, why would you take a gun? It seemed weird.
See, Bird of Prey 5 likes Eleanor. I will gladly take his wife if she sends the kids to boarding school.
All right, if you're okay with Eleanor, don't worry about it. Colonel Mackenzie Mac is dead. So there's a widow on the prowl, is what I'm saying. I don't know what year this movie takes on. Sandra says, I saw the moon landing when it happened. And, you know, that would be amazing. Were you on the moon at the time? Were there bleachers?
Look how unhappy this monkey looks. They're so unhappy.
I know. And you know what? We did watch the credits. Mm-hmm. And I don't recall seeing no animals were harmed in the making of this movie.
That's true. That's true. Oh, no.
I don't know if it was a convention that they were employing at the time.
So, it, of course, like we said earlier, was a boy monkey. It says Mona the woolly monkey in the credits, but his name was Barney. First thing in the morning, they put on a little bikini made of monkey fur to cover him up so he wouldn't be flailing him away at himself during the movie. But he was great to work with, because if you work with an animal, he surprises you all the time. And that's what actors like. Robert Duvall does it, and he's a human being.
But isn't there that old adage saying never work with animals or children?
Who says that?
Actors. Like, generally, they sort of refer to that as being a difficult situation. Now, I don't understand that position, because, Jill, you do it every time you broadcast with me. I'm an animal and a children.
No, you tend to, but you're a lot of fun to talk to, so.
Just like animals and children.
Yeah, but I couldn't go into a deeper conversation with an animal or a child, so.
You have.
Wow.
You don't remember. Neither do I. So it all works out. So anyway, this is, he has a name. He has a name.
Barney. His name is Barney.
No, Mona.
Mona is his name in the movie.
Yeah, but is it Bonnie, the woolly monkey, in real life?
Yeah, Barney in real life.
Barney. Okay. I thought you said Bonnie. I was like, oh, okay. Weird. Maybe he's Irish.
Have a Bonnie day. That would be a cute name for a monkey, actually.
Bird of Prey 5 says, why can't we recreate it? Same reason we can't rebuild the Empire State Building in 16 months. Doesn't mean we didn't build the Empire State Building. Is the Empire State Building no longer standing?
There is a Empire State Building.
But yeah, I understand. I understand. Well, no, and I've mentioned before, I'm Canadian, and one of the greatest achievements in supersonic aerospace technology was created by Canadian engineers, the Avro Aero, and that is lost to time just because they completely mishandled the blueprints or the technological specifications. They can't recreate that. It was trashed. It's an interesting history.
Oh, yeah. You have a picture of it in your house.
I do.
Sandra says, I wish I was sitting in front of the TV. She says, I wish I was sitting in front of the TV to watch the movie.
No, it would have been to see the moon landing. No, and that makes sense. But even seeing it live on television, can you? It would be such a monumental. It's like a collective, hooray! Look at what we did.
Right. That's one of the moments where you remember where you were when you saw it.
Yeah, where the entire world, like, what was it? Just recently, they celebrated the 20th anniversary of the 2003 blackout. And it was a time where everyone was anticipating chaos, and everyone just sort of pulled together and helped. To a certain extent, I'm sure that there was some
whenever there's a tragedy, it makes sense to look for the people who are going to help.
But the blackout wasn't a tragedy. It was a mass inconvenience. And I feel like everybody, like, this all happened on the Western
the weather
or Eastern Seaboard. Well, it was a very sunny day. It happened on like August 3rd, I think. And yeah, everyone sort of came together and said, let's just kumbaya, my lord. And it was great. It worked out. And usually we're united by tragedy, but it's interesting when something good happens and it's like, do you remember where you were when that happened? And it was great, wasn't it? It was pretty great, yes. And I think the moon landing is one of those things. And while the moon landing was an achievement, the blackout of 2003 was sort of a cooperation, which I enjoyed.
That's nice.
That has been this day in history from 2003.
Franco Walker says hello to Darius. Darius is here. Hey.
Ahoy! Mr. Munchausen.
It's a Hollywood thing. This monkey really was sent to Mars.
Well, and even Adam West at the beginning of the movie, Colonel Mac, says, there's no way I'm launching Mona out of here. I'll go before Mona goes. Everyone loves Mona.
Right. They were supposed to abandon her, and they're like, no, we can't.
And Mona was screaming to high heaven, being, please abandon me. I hate this place. You guys smell.
Frank Walker says, it's a common saying with the actors, never work with animals and children.
See?
Animals don't talk about controversially named Mark Twain characters. Scotty R37. Darius.
Yeah, that's true.
Vertebrae 5 says it still stands. All the more ridiculous to deny it can't be built.
I don't know. I think things get lost to time, the specifics, the details, especially when you don't sort of.
Well, right. You're not going to be able to build it in the same way, but you can still build it.
Well, hopefully. I want that. I want that. But I don't know. I think that discoverable knowledge is lost to time, no matter how important. I think it just goes away and somebody else has to find it again.
Mm-hmm. Unless you keep good records and the records are passed down through generations in different formats and medias. If you really care about something, make several different copies in different formats.
But that was what happened with the Abro Arrow, is that they were like, no, we can't have this anymore. Destroy it. Oh, are you serious? Yes. And don't call me Shirley. Hey, Jim.
Yeah, hello, Jim. And Vertebrae 5 says hello to Jim. And Darius said, I heard that in the UK, the live moon landing broadcast was accompanied by Pink Floyd.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, actually, I enjoy the fact that popular music was accompanying the landing. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. But also, I would like to say that my response to that was based on popular music and not on Pink Floyd. I am not a Pink Floyd fan.
I am. I like Pink Floyd.
Well, then you celebrate them. I'll be back in a second. I'm sick and tired of all of this Pink Floyd love. It's just something. It's just something I can't get.
To drive you away with the little.
No,
wish
it's
you
a
were
wall,
here.
Jill. It's a wall.
Well, I wish you were here. Vertebrae 5 says, instead of riots, people mostly kept their cool. Not like today. Sandra Feliciano says, at that time, no one knew if the LEM would sink completely into the dust on the moon. There were actually preparations if they couldn't take off again and died there. Oh, wow. So, yeah, it was a pretty scary trip. You didn't know if the module would be able to escape velocity from the moon. And that makes sense. And very nearly they didn't make it home. There were issues with the Apollo. And Jim says, I was mowing the lawn, but I got drizzled. Out too wet. Oh, too much rain. You'll get it done some other time. Bird of Prey 5 says, we were still pretty united after 9/11. It's true. Sci-Fi Nation is here. Like indoor plumbing, the Romans had it. Then it disappeared during the Dark Ages.
Hey, Sci-Fi.
And Franco says, it's impossible to mow a wet lawn. To Jim.
Depends on how long the blades are. Or of grass, not your mower blades.
Hey, hello to Princess Fiona.
Hey, Fiona.
She says to Sandra Feliciano, as it turned out, the dust was so sharp and sticky, it destroyed the seals of the suits and ship. It was massively dangerous and got everywhere. All the moon dust? Yeah. And
I hate sand. It's rough. It's coarse.
Well, the dust
it's
on
everywhere.
Mars is pretty rough too. You're in danger of a lot of dust storms on Mars too.
Oh, Princess Fiona, I wanted to say, we found a solution to the Blu-ray. We ended up buying a new one, and now there's a different problem. But if you put a Blu-ray into the player first, sound works. If you put a DVD into the player, the sound doesn't work unless you cycle through the entire HDMI input. So the powers that be decided to spend $120 so that there was at least all of the things played, but there are still technical difficulties. But they're maneuverable. We just have to flip more switches to make the sound work all the time. But anyway, I'm sorry that was a sidebar. Thank you, Princess Fiona, for helping with that particular instance.
Yeah, thank you, Princess Fiona. And thanks for involving the chat and letting them help you out there. That's always a good thing because you've got to see your movies and so does your family. So I'm glad you figured it out.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, this is an image of. Oh, sorry.
Hello, Donnie. I just wanted to say hi to Donnie.
Don Ranger Power.
And he says, I have first seen Robinson Crusoe on Mars when it aired on AMC. Ah, the memories.
It is, and the thing is, while I was watching it, I was very sort of cynical. And upon just thinking about it as the day went on, I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
this is a solid adventure movie. And I think, and I've said it at least twice before, I think that this is a situation where if I had read Robinson Crusoe, I think I would enjoy it more.
I think so too. I think I would as well. I need to read it just to see what happens when that. If I could get a different perspective.
Have you even seen Robinson Crusoe, like a movie version? Me either.
No. I've watched Gilligan's Island.
I don't think that counts.
No, I know it doesn't. Princess Fiona says moon dust is deadly, microscopically razor sharp.
That's what they call me in grade school.
Microscopically razor sharp?
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, Jill. Please, let's move along.
Sandra Feliciano says, I know, Princess Fiona. Everything was so unknown. Our cell phones have more computing power than the computers they were working with. A lot of the calculations were done with pencil and paper.
I just got punched in the throat by a monkey.
Well, that was rude of Barney.
It's my own fault for renting it for this show. You figure I'd turn on the camera.
Right. Well, yeah. Why did you get a monkey if you're not going to show us?
I don't know. I'm frivolous and I like to rent things.
And so he's got the ability to use some chalk. He's got these makeshift chalkboards.
Well, yeah, absolutely. He is sort of, I don't know, designing his own rescue, trying to at least put as many way markers to be like, if you find this, I'm over here. Like, he's trying the entire time. He tries to steer the orbiting ship that he's ejected from.
Yeah.
But no fuel. The computers acknowledge what he's doing, but there's no fuel to do it.
And
isn't it so weird just to see a guy wearing a baseball hat, a turtleneck t-shirt? And by the way, who has a turtleneck t-shirt?
I don't.
And just wandering around, he's got perfect hair throughout the entire thing, no haircuts. Also, hang on, before you move on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's going in sevens. Why is he going in sevens?
He's
For
going
weeks?
Yeah, he's going by weeks.
All right. I guess that makes sense. Good work, Colonel Draper, or Commander.
Yes, and later on we see that he marks out the months as well. Every 4 weeks he puts a little circle and an X. And so this is his front door. He's got an American flag, and he
As
even
you
puts
do.
a little marker.
Mm-hmm.
And he even puts Dan McCready on the front door.
Of course. Mission leader.
And they were here in Death Valley. They shot in Death Valley for 2 weeks. And
I do enjoy... Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I do enjoy how they do present the rationing of the supplies.
Yeah, at first though, he was saying, "Oh, we're gonna die anyway. Eat what you want," and then he takes it away from the monkey. Like, never mind. I figured out how to live. We got a ration.
Well,
again.
and that's he falls asleep and he basically has resigned himself to death. He makes a captain's log and says, "I'm going to die in a matter of moments. I'm pretty sure." And then he falls asleep, and then oxygen jets propel out of the rocks.
Yeah, it's like the rocks are breathing or something.
Like they burn and they breathe. And yeah, it's insane.
It is. And then apparently Mona knows where to find the water.
Well, of course Mona knows where to. Commander Draper gives a personal log and says Mona's off every day. I don't know where she goes, but whatever. And so it takes him like 3 days to be like, maybe Mona knows where water is, which she does. The monkey is far smarter than our good Chris Draper.
Yeah. That's right. And I think it's interesting that he says, if I don't wake up in time to renew my air supply, it's hearts and flowers. That's a weird way to say that he's going to die. I've never heard that euphemism
Hearts
before.
and flowers. Isn't that like a funeral?
I thought it would, I don't know. When I hear that, it feels more like passing out to me, like when you get little birds over your head in a cartoon.
Oh, so you think he's going to have like cartoon stars?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
It's just a weird phrase that I don't understand.
His vernacular is very 1964.
Yeah.
See, at this point, Fuzzy Monkey, Woolly Monkey, George, or whatever his name is, Curious George,
Barney,
Much more relaxed now that he doesn't have to wear this the spacesuit.
Yeah.
Here we go, ladies. You get your man cheesecake. Here we go.
He's taking a bath. Yes.
He's taking a bath, but he also, when he gets out of the bath, you get to see some bare bum.
And a matte painting.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Echo, go to hell. I kind of want to clip that for whenever somebody comes in and it echoes.
Oh, that's a good call. That's a good call. And so they do find sort of growing meat, Martian
Sausage.
meat.
Some kind of
Yeah.
sausage.
I looked up the production. It's actually just pepperoni.
Yeah, it is. It is pepperoni.
What's the other thing that they eat? It looked like rhubarb or something.
Oh, I don't know.
Like so they find some edible fauna, flora, both. Like if sausages are growing, that's fauna. And he eats and decides that he got way too sick from eating, but nothing comes of it. Like, this movie slows down to a snail's pace at times just to remind you that he's all alone. And then we get the return of Colonel Mac.
Well, see, what happened is he poisoned himself and he's hallucinating.
He continues to eat the growing sausages even after he's been poisoned by them.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe it was
He took
just
too
poison
much?
when the difference is this time he cooked them. So later on he just doesn't cook them anymore.
So don't cook them. Right.
Right.
Add fire, get messed up.
Yes. Yes, for some reason cooking the sausages made him hallucinate McCready.
Mm-hmm.
And only his alarm, he set up an alarm system to wake himself up to tell him he needs more oxygen. And that wakes him up.
Because he's been having sort of a night terror. And then he immediately goes to make a personal log that says, hey, guys, I have built myself shelter. I know where to get food. I know where to get water. I have been exercising. But there's one thing you haven't been paying attention to, and it's the isolation. The isolation will make a man crack up.
That's where he'll go under. Yes, it's true. And he says he had the training in the chamber, but he knew he'd be with people again. But in Mars, you have to face the reality of being alone forever. And the book, there's this book here. It says, did it take a long time to get in and out of the spacesuit? That didn't take very long. It was like a jumpsuit. So it was easy and the helmet was easy. What took time was the special effects people kept wiping down the visor of the helmet because they didn't want to get finger marks on it. They wanted a clear shot through that, but the spacesuit was easy. My most comfortable outfit, of course, was the black t-shirt and hat.
As you are, and sand shoes. He's a veritable Doctor Who.
And there's another question here. In the scenes where it was necessary for the monkey to do something, how many takes were required? Did he take direction well? Yeah, usually they put a few drops of Coca-Cola on a straw, and he would do anything for that. He was oh my God. It says, he was a real whore. He would do anything for food. That's what did it. It was little bits of food that made Barney do what he did. I think that's a misuse of the word whore.
No, I approve.
Okay. I don't like calling a monkey that.
Well,
That's
but
not
later
right.
on, Barney the monkey, when we meet up with Caveman, he's got like the electronic handcuffs. And so one of the things was that the actor, I forget his name, London.
Yeah, London.
Mr.
Victor.
London. Vic London. Victor. He has the electronic handcuffs, and he was like clamping them together and in great pain and very dramatically, as you do for a screen production. And the monkeys started emulating him. And the director was just like, no, shoot that. Like, that's good because it shows some sort of empathy between the monkey and the caveman.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to go and check in with the chat?
Yes, I do. And
Because
what's going on is that I'll go to the chat and then I'm going to the book, but I have to open the book all the way to see because I'm looking for
That's how
some cool
books
stuff in the
work.
book. Yeah, right. But I
You
can't
gotta open the book. You can't just look at the book and absorb it.
What I mean to say is I have to make it bigger. I can't just have it smaller, a smaller window. It has to be my full screen to actually see it.
Is your book on paper?
No.
That's not a book, that's a file.
Yeah. Okay. It's a book that's been scanned into the computer for browsing on anyway.
I don't think I like this. You know what? Whenever I get a book, I want it to be on paper.
I demand it. I demand it.
Books, thousands of them. Princess Fiona says slide rules sent men to the moon.
True. No argument.
Franco Walker says, Scotty, rent a movie about monkeys. Easier to control.
Do I have any monkey movies? I got the Planet of the Apes movies, but they're apes. They're not monkeys.
Right.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, I guess. Jumanji.
Time is different on Mars. He is measuring Martian days and weeks.
Okay. Well, he's the astronaut. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm okay with it.
Princess Fiona says, I saw this movie as a child. It made me very sad, but I loved it. It had spaceships, a monkey, and Batman. Who wouldn't love it?
But why did it make you sad? Curious.
There's no flower emoji. There is a flower emoji.
There must be.
There is. Do I have
to look at it under Woodstock?
Flower emoji. Here. There's lots of flower emojis, actually.
Check the series or season finale of Picard season 1. There are plenty of flowers. They have to shoot them. Aren't there flowers at the end of Picard season 1?
I don't know. All I can find is a sunflower. I'm in the middle of a live stream. I won't look for any more right now.
All right. So am I, so I won't either.
What were you talking about the filth for? I missed that.
Well, because there were flowers at the end of Picard season 1. They were like, before Dr. Octopus was trying to tear into our universe.
Those flowers.
Those flowers. The robot, they came from the robot planet, right?
Yeah, the robot Cthulhu.
What a bunch of monkey nuts that was.
What was that?
And you know what? And that's a slur towards our friend George, who plays Mona, this monkey. Right. I'm gonna start thinking about George every time I start bringing up monkeys.
Ernie. Princess Fiona says, the similarities between this and The Martian are quite fun. The science isn't precise, but he still used science for problem solving. The film was ahead of its time. Yeah,
Agreed. But and the only downside about that is that the science sort of made the movie quaint, right? And then we get this, and then we get it turns into Enemy Mine.
Well, aliens have come from another world, and
which makes this science fantasy.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's science fiction. I mean, aliens could show up at any moment. We never know. It's unlikely, but
But this is the moment, like, and it's weird that they maintain the pacing and the tension of Commander Draper being stranded on Mars, but they introduce an invading force that is not invading him. It's like Die Hard on Mars, and all he has to do is scoot away. He's not the one who's being pursued.
No.
It's the slavery race that is on there that, like, Tonto, and sorry if that's politically incorrect, but
Well, we don't know his name, so it's not your fault. He calls him Draper. Just calls him Friday. He doesn't ever.
Friday,
He doesn't ever try to figure out what his real name is.
which is, from what I understand, a reference. Like, that is when they say the reference to. Like, we're getting ahead of ourselves, so spoilers for 10 minutes from now. But like, they do say, "Oh, you'll be Friday," a native on the island, from what I understand from
Curious.
my not having read Robinson Crusoe. And it's like, that'll just be like Robinson Crusoe. And that's where they derive the title for this entire movie. And which brings us to the beginning of the show. And it's like, they should have named this something else.
I really should have. I think it would have been good. They still could have referenced Robinson Crusoe. Just new name.
These Martian ships are leftover special effects from War of the Worlds.
They work out for me. They are.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, go back. One more. All right. I'm going to objectify a man right now. I am going to say that these are man titties. I am going to say that these are the breasts of a man who used to work out. And he has decided that he is no longer going to compete. He just wants to have burritos and beer. Cerveza. I don't know the nationality. I don't know where this guy comes from. I'm just saying that those... Go back one more. Go back. Man titties. All right, now you're on your way.
Okay. Thank you.
Franco Walker gets it. Moobs.
Yeah. Okay, yes. Thank you, Franco Walker, also. They find edibles, says Birdo Pig 5. Yeah, if you cook the plant sausages, then they make you trip.
The growing protein. The sprouting jerky.
Princess Fiona says, at that time, we were very progressive vis-a-vis recreational drug use.
I'm still
Martian laws.
progressive.
Oh, Martian laws. So it would seem. Princess Fiona says, the monkey was a cokehead. See? Told you.
What's going on?
Right. Yes, he had straws full of...
Why can't we start shooting today? It's because Barney the monkey needs his fix.
He needs his straw full of Coke. I didn't even make the connection to drugs. I literally just thought of the soda because that's what it was. Good one, Fiona.
Barney wants a monkey whore. But Barney is a monkey whore.
Gotta love addicts. They're easy to control.
I am. True story.
Gotta agree with Scotty on the books. Well, but I couldn't like buy this book and like go to the library and get this book. So archive.org is really great. And there's a flower.
Yeah, but you're an aficionado of printed like tomes. You are no slouch. I didn't mean to offend.
No,
you get books. Fine. You get books. Like you, what was it? Was it? And I'm gonna shout out and also denigrate. But didn't Clobby say that like books aren't memorabilia?
Oh,
didn't
no.
he say that?
I think. Well, no, he didn't. He didn't mean it that way. I don't think. I think he was meaning that there was no. Blake 7 didn't have any kind of. They didn't release any kind of collectibles really, and so for that he wasn't including books. And so I don't think he was saying that books aren't collectibles.
But I think a really good.
But he means that he because he got he got a bracelet from.
I've got a friend. I've got a like really nice Star Trek, the original series, The Costumes of Star Trek. It's a hardcover like coffee table book essentially.
Oh man, I saw that at Ollie's and I didn't get it and I regret it.
Well, you can have mine. And it's just amazing to be able to pour
okay.
through. And so obviously I misconstrued what Clobby was saying. My mistake. I apologize, sir. Everyone subscribe to Saturday Night Star Trek.
Please do.
But please do. But yeah, I've always considered the sort of books and reference materials, hardcover, softcover, what have you. Pick and choose your novels. That's up to you. But when it comes to the actual reference material for the production of a series, I think that those qualify as really great additions to your sort of shrine, your collection of
I
a
think so too.
particular property.
Well, that's mostly what I get. And anytime I do get enabled on Clobby's show or whatever, it's usually a book.
And again, paper. Kill those trees.
Well, you can recycle. Use recycled paper for your... It's possible. Princess Fiona says to Scotty, Mac dies. It was sad. Yeah, that is sad. And I dreaded the monkey dying. I was little.
It was kind of shocking to see Mac die, and yes, there was tension throughout as to whether or not Mona would die.
Yeah, like where's Mona? And no, and Friday has that same panic, and that the audience does, like where the monkey is at certain points of the movie. Nothing wrong with Enemy Mine, though.
Agreed.
Some of the best stories in literature use that trope.
Have you ever seen Enemy Mine, Jill?
No.
It's got Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. and it's about it's human and alien species who have been at interstellar war, finding themselves as enemy combatants, crash landed on an asteroid, and they have to survive together for several years. It's really endearing. It's good. Put it on the list.
Well, I wanted to make sure. Yes, please. Go ahead.
New video called Repair being released this coming Monday morning. Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone subscribe. Is Stream Elements gonna... Hey, everyone subscribe to Jim.
I'm sure it already has, but I'd have to check.
Nah, I wouldn't worry about it. Franco says, was that a Martian vessel from War of the Worlds? Correct.
Yeah.
Man, it is.
Franco Walker says the shrouding jerky sounds very rude for some reason.
Shouting jerky? Sprouting jerky. And it should.
Yeah, it's like a plant, but it's
meat.
Sausage.
Sprouts from the earth or the bars.
I will call an ebook and not a book. You can't squish a spider with it. It's not a book. That's fair enough. You can if it's on your laptop.
So
says Franco Walker.
What you do is get the 1 month free subscription to a newspaper. Keep all of those newspapers and never buy a fly swatter. At this point, I'm pretty sure you cannot get a fly swatter for free. But if you have a stack of newspapers that you can just hit things with that are, invaders to your home, do that. Plus, you get a crossword with it.
Yeah, and if you want to paint or something, you can.
Oh, yeah, you need drop cloths that you can throw away. And it's all recycled. Yeah. And yes, Princess Fiona, it was Louis Gossett Jr. and Dennis Quaid. For a minute there, I was going to say Deanna Quaid. And I was like, wait, no, that was a man. So anyway, Commander Draper gets some bee footage from Forbidden Planet. This is what he was sort of scanning with his camera gun. but yeah.
Yeah,
He
and
gets
it
to
looks
see
like
the slavery.
yeah, it looks like this is kind of like these aliens are kind of like Egyptians, or at
Cardassians,
least
and
dressed
these
up
the
like them
Martians.
anyway.
Well, no, but later on they sort of infer that Tonto, I don't like using that term.
So use just call him Friday because that's the only name we
So
have for
Friday,
him.
my mistake. So Friday says that he's from another world. He's not even from Mars. Like, this veers into adventure schlock with no basis in science. It just
Well,
turns into, well, we need something to happen.
I mean, but if you're gonna call a movie with aliens in it not science fiction, and you're gonna call it science fantasy, then almost every science fiction movie is just science fantasy. So I don't understand. But all right, that's fine.
Well, once you introduce aliens, and again, this is part of the reason why I feel like I should have seen or read or either Robinson Crusoe, the original, is because maybe there is someone on the island who helps our man Crusoe.
Probably there is, and they actually did want to make Friday look more alien. They did want to give him some different attributes to make him look less exactly like a human, but they didn't have the budget.
Well, that wig is awful.
Yeah, they didn't.
He looks like
doesn't
Sonny Bono.
He was very happy to play an alien, but he doesn't like his costume.
I don't like it either, so I agree with him. Like, he's good. I'm just saying the characterization through costuming is lackluster.
Yeah. Oh,
meanwhile, Barney is stealing every scene.
Yeah. Well, it gives you a lot of fun stuff to look at, to watch Barney. And
wait,
later
we
on,
forgot.
though,
Mr.
later
London.
On, what about
Would you like to point out where Mr. London you may recognize him from?
Oh, right. From Star Trek. He's among the first Klingons that appear in Errand of Mercy.
I'm sorry, I swear.
Let me see. Let me get a picture of it because I have it.
Yeah. Well, and like, these are all sort of before they were famous for the two people, and also Mr. London, not necessarily famous, but even Adam West. This is a breakthrough role for him. Commander Draper thought that this was going to be his big ticket to stardom, and then he didn't work for 11 months afterwards. But the production is good. The special effects are good. The science fiction for the time, you know, even if you want to look back on this ironically, it's not that bad. It does what it says. And this is Mr. London, Friday, as a Klingon. Much paler.
Princess Fiona
says... Sorry.
Oh, yeah?
No, go ahead. Well, I was going to say, like, everyone says that Klingons go in blackface.
I don't say that. Everyone.
Well, no, people do reference it. People do
they're
say
wrong.
They are wrong, or the Klingons are wrong. The critics or the Klingons.
Well, I mean, it's an extreme kind of. I think that's going too far to say that. They're making aliens. This is.
I think it does go with costuming and makeup. I don't think it's. If
it were blackface, they would be racist. Earthlings. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want? A tie? A cardigan? Shave that mustache, you hippie.
Princess Fiona says, "Did you cover that this was filmed at Zabriskie Point in Death Valley? They filmed Spartacus there." Oh,
we did.
I thought Spartacus was filmed in Spain.
Jill, you did mention that.
Yes, I did.
It was Death Valley, but I didn't know Antiderivative Spartacus filmed there.
That's cool. Princess Fiona says the man boobs made him look too human.
Just made, yeah, like wear a shirt.
There's a native on the island that Robinson Crusoe meets and calls Friday. Speaking of limericks, I came up with one the other day for Star Trek month, which is a week away. I'll add that to DeviantArt next week as well. Stay tuned.
Don Ranger Power month? You're going to give it Star Trek month.
Well, because it's Star Trek Day in September.
I understand that. But
He's
that
gonna give it
doesn't
the whole
mean you
month.
get to take the whole month.
Yeah, well, if Donnie wants to take the whole month for Star Trek, who are you or I or anybody to stop him?
You're right. I shouldn't douse his happiness or their happiness, Don. Lemon!
Oh, hi, Lemon.
Are you good for a second? I gotta go for a minute.
I'm fine. You can go.
Are you good?
Go for a minute. Yeah, I'm okay.
Do you want some air pills?
Yeah, I would love some M&Ms.
All right, I'll be back in a flash.
All right, great. And air pills, he's mentioning that because Friday has a different way to get oxygen and breathe. He uses these air pills, which are basically in production, they're just M&Ms. But in the movie, they're magic pills that let you breathe. And but they do have a way to describe them. He does describe what they do. The air pills. How do they work? There's a description. Oxygen pills somehow. Okay, so it says somehow these pills bypass the lungs and produce oxygen right in the blood. So that's the only explanation we get of those pills. So who knew that M&Ms could do that? I didn't. Lemon Pie says, "Good day, all." Jill and Scotty. Hello, Lemon. And Donnie says, "For the picture part of my Trek limerick, I'll use a pic of resurrected starship. Enhanced and augmented version of the original Connie class USS Enterprise NCC 1701 with the and then if you're just listening to me, Donnie also put a little ASCII art of the Enterprise in his comment. That's cute. And hello, Cam Cam. Hi, Jill and Scotty. Can't chat, but listening. Hope everyone is doing well as can be. All right. Great to see you, Cam Cam. See what else we can find in the book. Oh, I gotta borrow it again. It says my loan expired. That's weird. Okay. So it's gonna refresh the page. So I need just a second. So this is, of course, Christopher Draper with his little alarm system he has. This alarm tells him when he needs to get more oxygen from his tank. And oh, okay. So Paul Manty, he's played by Paul Manty. And his stand-in was a man named Todd Martin who worked the whole picture. Every morning when I would come to work, it says this book says, he would give me like star treatment. In my dressing room would be a West Coast edition of the New York Times and a hot cup of black coffee. I mean, give me a break. I'm not Robert Redford. But what Todd did, he was delightful to do so. Wow. That's amazing. I didn't know the stand-in and the actors had such a cool relationship. Oh, and these aliens, they're after Friday because he's their slave and they want him back. And he's got these little bracelet wrists that are electronically tied to these to these slave masters, aliens, and Draper is keeping him away from them. Oh, and then the next question is, did the monkey have a stunt double? Yes, a really snarly bitch of a monkey. As wonderful as Barney was, we didn't want to get around the stunt double. I don't know if she was jealous, if she wanted to be the star of the film. I don't know what happened. She looked like Barney because they were both woolly monkeys from Brazil, but she was a total bitch. She was a screamer. Barney, on the other hand, was friendly and delightful. I'd come into work at 8 o'clock every morning and he would jump into my arms and give me a big hug. 10 weeks with the same animal. You begin to really get affectionate with the damn thing. It was like falling in love with the dog. So when the movie was over, I really missed the monkey. I missed not seeing Barney 5 days a week. Barney, by the way, hated his spacesuit. You get an animal who's never had clothes on before and you put him in an orange spacesuit, he's going to feel like he's in a straitjacket. Poor baby. Okay, so that explains maybe they didn't abuse Barney. I'm of the opinion now that they did not abuse Barney. He just hated wearing that spacesuit. Because this is why it's good to read the books, because then you know exactly what is going on. The monkey was just pissed to be in a spacesuit, which makes sense. And so here's our M&Ms, which are serving as our oxygen pills. So you take these and they bypass the lungs and produce the oxygen right in the blood. That's what it says. And Donnie says, okay, see, I read that one. And Franco Walker gives us another starship here. And hello to Peter Notfinity in the chat. Captain Finity? Peter Notfinity? It's been a while since you changed your name. Cam says, gotta get on the road. Take it easy, everybody. You too. Have a safe trip. And so let's see what else is going on. So that's going to be news. I'm going to want to repeat that one to Scotty about the stand-in, the stunt double, because the internet just told me that there was a stuffed monkey, but I didn't ever hear about the actual live stunt double that Barney had. In the scenes where it was necessary for the monkey to do something, how many takes were required? Oh wait. Oh, I read this one earlier about how it it drank Coca-Cola. And so let's skip that. Yeah. There's some sparks. Sparks are flying. Let's see. Nobody in the crew. Can you talk a little bit more about Byron Haskin? What was he like? Oh, so this is about the director. So Paul talks about the director. Paul Manty talks about the director, Brian Haskin. He looked like a director from the 20s. He wore a beret often, smoked a cigarette with a holder, and he had a pencil slim mustache. And he wore a two-tone sports jacket. He really looked the part of the director, like Robert Benchley. He looked like he belonged on set. All he needed was jod purrs. What are jod purrs? I don't know what that is. It's JODH purrs. JODH purrs. Oh, they're a type of pants. They're just pants. Oh, they're like pants you wear when you're when you're a horse jockey. Okay, funny. And his nickname was Bunny, and he did look like a bunny. He was like one third bunny, two thirds Robert Benchley. At the time, I was studying an acting class, and I was learning the method and motivation and this and that. Oh, but he was a different kind of director. I tried to say the words, but pleasantly, he was delightful. He had a marvelous wife, and I remained friends with both of them for years and years after. Mm, Friday, that's it. With apologies to Robinson Crusoe. Okay, so here's where he names him Friday, and this is once he names him Friday, he doesn't try to tell him his name or he doesn't try to say we never actually learn this guy his real birth name in this movie. We he's just called Friday. But this is the moment in the movie where he actually talks. So now this whole time he's been mute and now he can talk. And so he decides he's going to teach him English. But I have to pause right here because there's a point coming up that Scotty needs to be here for. And so I'm going to stop right there and read from the book and talk to the chat. Hey guys. And Donnie says, I'm Mighty and Morphin. Thank you. To Cam Cam. Have a great weekend and may the power protect you. Otherwise, we might meet again later this evening, if not before. And Franco Walker says, Martian Disco. And hey, the Time Prophet is here. Can't stay long as my tea is really ready. I presume you mentioned Adam West in this movie, who played Batman. Yes, we did. And he's already, so, yes, Adam West played Captain McCready. Captain McCready did not make it. He died, um, unfortunately, for Eleanor and their two children. So, but his shipmate, Commander, oh man, it's just not a memorable name. The actor, Commander Christopher. Oh man, did I forget his name already? Draper. Christopher Draper, played by Paul Manty. He survives, and that's who the movie's about. Thank you so much for stopping by, the Time Prophet. He says, in Britain, we wear our pants under our trousers. Wait, what? Oh, right. Oh, right, because I'm calling. So it must be really weird for you to listen to Americans talking about wearing pants. Because to you, they're all underpants. When you say pants, yeah, that is strange. The Time Prophet says, I have this on DVD. Excellent movie. Frankel Walker says, unless you are a superhero. R.A. This bloody keyboard. I love this planet. Free sausages growing everywhere. Yeah, right. They're growing all over the place. And not only that, but Draper hasn't even explored the planet. Apparently there's some green areas of the planet that he could go explore on this fictional representation of Mars a year before the Mariner spacecraft actually took real images of Mars. So this movie couldn't have been made just 1 year later. It would be a completely different movie. So I'm so glad they made it first because this is a lot of fun. Oh, see, I can't move on. There's no Scotty. That I can't. You might have seen why I have to wait for him for that one. And oh, man. Okay, so you remember that scene where he was taking a bath earlier, Christopher Draper? Well, they asked Paul Manti, were you actually nude in that fast diving into the pool scene? And he said, yeah. And I have a bad back to this day from that. Oh, wow. It was a pool made of hard rubber, and they told me it was a couple of feet deep, and I could jump in ass first. They assured me that I wouldn't hit the bottom. Well, I hit the bottom with my tailbone. Not hard, but just enough. It didn't bother me that day, but the next morning when I got out of bed, I felt it. And I've had a bad back ever since. Now, I had years of weightlifting and a lot of sports, so it may have been an accumulation of everything. That scene, by the way, was the first nude scene of 1964, and they cleared the set of any women. The only woman who didn't leave was the script supervisor, and they made her turn around in her chair. Okay, hold on. Wait, I hear okay, so I'm not reading the book now. I hear somebody in the background, and it is Pleasant Valley Picker. Hello,
Hi,
PPP.
hi guys.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm just doing some laundry, so I thought I'd pop on for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think you were having a tea time today because I didn't notice you posting any topic, and then I noticed, I thought I'd check out and see if you're on anyway, and then you're doing Robinson Crusoe on Mars. But don't you usually put like the night before on your channel what the topic's
Usually
gonna
I
be?
do, but what happened was I didn't get around to making the slides until this morning. So I'll
Okay,
post it as soon as I make the slides, and I try to do the slides the night before. That way I can post everything the night before.
right.
But it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So it happens when it happens.
Yeah, well, I'm just doing laundry because I need some clean clothes because I got an appointment in about an hour and 45
And
minutes.
everything's dirty, huh?
Yeah, it's been one of those weeks. Yeah, I should have done laundry, but I just never got around to it. So, and I
Mhm.
mean,
Well, and
I'm
see,
work.
that's one of the things that happens on Robinson Crusoe and Mars is that this guy never does laundry and he wears the same thing every day.
Well, I really
Yeah.
like Christopher Draper the whole movie until he meets Friday, and he's like, "I don't care what your name is. I'm calling you Friday. I can hear you speak. Now I'm gonna make you learn English. I'm not gonna bother to learn your language, but when you have trouble with my language, I'm going to call you retarded."
I'd kind of forgotten about this aspect of the film because I haven't seen it in a long time. Even though I really like it as a film, I think it's really good. But that is a little
Hey,
bit
time
harsh.
profit, buy time profit.
That's a bit
Oh,
harsh.
yeah, it kind of is, but we also
Well,
have to
you're
remember that
retarded.
we also have to kind of remember when this movie was made, this word didn't wasn't a derogatory word. Exactly.
Well, not as much.
He is calling him, slow.
A lesser developed individual, which would be the true definition of retarded. Let's not forget that this man is an astronaut. He is an intelligent individual who is he has a firm grasp of how to express himself. He is relaying information back to the
Yeah,
people's
but
in charge.
yes.
Like, I don't know. I think, are we to shy away from flame retardant because it may be insensitive to how you slow development of something?
Well, the thing
But
is,
I'm not going to throw it around when I'm driving, but I'm just
the,
saying,
the word
you shouldn't
the,
be afraid of the word if
the
it is utility.
the word was more of a general thing back then too, right? It wasn't as derogatory as it people have made it to be these days.
it wasn't
Uh,
Like,
but I don't think it's fair to call him that when he's not even trying attempting to learn his language at the
well,
same
yeah,
time
uh,
that he's teaching him English.
yeah, that's a good
but
It's
it is
point.
kinda one-sided.
representative. It is representative of sort of the Earth-centric understanding of the galaxy, of the solar system. Like, they do. I was flabbergasted when these guys ended up being able to communicate and become such good friends, and it did, as Princess Fiona said, in terms of an enemy mine situation. Like, there is an animosity if you can't communicate, and if you want to use a word that is, all right, you don't know English? Well, I ain't learning your stuff. Like, I think that is something that was representative in 1964. And whether it be offensive, maybe it is offensive. And maybe it's offensive on purpose. We do not know. And if it is taken offensively now, maybe it should be.
Well, I mean, it makes the astronaut a more three-dimensional person, right? More believable in the sense that they have prejudice, maybe, right? Against a more, well, what he perceives to be a more primitive, culture, more primitive individual than himself. So maybe there's a certain amount of snobbery happening there, Scotty, right?
Well,
and also, like later on in the story is
he
that
learns.
Like what's his name? Draper, Commander Draper does.
I know that keeps happening to me.
Commander Draper does say, like, he rescues, like they become very good friends.
And Friday ends up proving him wrong about being slow. He's not slow at all. He learns the language very quickly in just a short amount of time.
Oh, also, hey, PvP, it's good to see you, sir. I'm sorry, I jumped in conversation as opposed to being welcoming, but that's my way.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
Look at that.
I wasn't even planning on coming on today, but because I never, Jill didn't post her picture.
I don't always, I don't always tweet the show out.
Well, I know sometimes you take a break and you take a week off from this too, right? Occasionally,
Sometimes.
So
usually when Jill doesn't post it and I'm not on, I blame Jill.
That's fair enough. Oh, you know what? I think maybe next Friday, either next Friday I'm going to have a shore leave or I'm not going to have a show at all because I've got a family reunion that weekend.
Oh boy. Sounds like you'll be busy.
Yeah.
Are you going to make cornbread?
No, I didn't even think of that. I should bring something, but not cornbread.
Why not cornbread?
No, because
you're not good at it.
No, it's just I want something else. Something I think is yummy. I don't know. I like cornbread, but I'm not gonna make
cornbread. Is like muffins, but not. And also, you can't don't put little giblet. Or what do you call them?
What?
Niblets of corn? What do you call?
I don't know what you're talking about.
When you take the corn off of the cob, what do you call those individual corns?
Oh, kernels.
Kernels. So don't put kernels of corn in your cornbread. Like, make sure it's very.
Who does that? That's weird.
I don't know. Hobos and mountain people.
Mountain people? Okay, I've never heard of that happening ever.
Oh boy.
I've never had cornbread with literal chunks of corn in it.
I have. It was awful.
That sounds weird.
See what happens, Jill, when you mention a family reunion? And go totally on a tangent.
Well, Princess Fiona says it's a lot weirder to hear them talk about fanny packs.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of a strange phrase. Yeah, true.
The Time Prophet says, yep, they were right about the air. The air is much thinner on Mars, though. Yeah, no, you cannot breathe the air on Mars, unfortunately. But they were a year early.
Hang on.
Is there air? You don't know.
Yeah, I brought that one up. Well, Scotty noticed it, and I brought it up.
So I take it this is supposed to be Mars, though, from the title.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a year before the Mariner spacecraft took pictures of Mars, so they didn't know. They didn't know exactly what Mars would be like.
It does seem a bit weird that they're on Mars and they can breathe. It's not very scientifically accurate.
No, but at the time, and we sort of covered this, is that in 1964 there was the idea that there was a thin oxygen atmosphere on Mars, and so this was scientifically hypothetical.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah. Oh my God. The Time Prophet says here a fanny is not an arse or ass.
No, it's a front. It's
Yes,
a
it's the front. Yeah. That's good enough.
it's a pink hole, not a brown hole.
Mhm.
But it's kind of cool that they didn't know what Mars looked like, because this imaginary landscape is pretty neat.
I like it too.
Yeah,
It's set in.
yeah. I always liked this film. I can't remember. I haven't seen it in so long though. When I think about it, it's probably been at least 10 years.
Well, there are movies that I like. I'm a physical media hoarder, and Forbidden Planet is on my list. But this, I'm glad I saw it, but I don't want it.
What? Okay.
You want the
I-
physical media version of this?
Well, I love it.
I don't think I'll watch it again. I appreciated it for what it was.
I enjoy it very much. You don't have to.
But
want
is it like
Fine.
something that you want on a shelf?
I wouldn't
Hi,
mind it,
Lemon.
but
Hi,
I
everybody.
don't
The
exactly
names are
collect
flying
that
by
either.
here.
Movies. The Time
Don't
Prophet
pay
says,
attention
"Sorry
to
to
them.
cut."
I'm the one
and
talking.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. Keep going.
Sorry to cut and run. I always have my tea at the same time as your stream. Yeah, same thing happens to Dalek, the Time Prophet. He also has his tea. And I learned that tea is dinner. I learned that like a year ago. Lemon
Yeah,
Pie
I know,
says,
Lemon. I think the trouble is I often mention it and then I don't get around to actually doing it.
PvP, it feels like you are always doing laundry.
Yeah, tell me about it.
PvP, do you in some way prepare your undergarments to go into your undergarment drawer? Do you fold them? Do you roll them? Or do you just jam them in there like you're stuffing a critter?
I just toss them in. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Space management. You got to
Yeah, well,
start folding or rolling.
what I need because I have my clean socks in the same drawer, right? So
You have
I
clean
got to go
socks?
through
Good
my
for
socks,
you.
because I got socks that are like X socks. They are like socks that
You
have
broke up with them?
passed on. They're pining for the fjords, so to speak. Uh, if you're familiar with Monty Python at all. Basically they got holes in the heels and stuff. So I got to toss a bunch of them out one of these days.
I just went to Walmart the other day and I got myself a bag of socks.
Yeah,
20 pairs for
that's what I do.
$10.
We get the same socks, Scotty.
Well, right.
That's the ones I get. The 20 pairs for $10. Yeah, it's a great deal. And the socks are decent quality too.
Do you go white socks or black socks?
I always go black socks.
Well, that's where you're wrong.
Well, it's just, when I was working, going off to work, I mean, you got to sort of dress, more formal, right? So.
Well, that's where you
Yeah,
get
but
that
Michael
song,
Jackson was a
Black
superstar
Socks.
and he wore white socks.
Yeah, but
They
I'm not
never
Michael
get
Jackson.
dirty.
Exactly.
you
And
wear
that's
them,
how
the
you
stronger
get to
they
be a
get.
superstar, is by wearing white socks.
I don't want to be a superstar.
I know, Jill. I'm
I
sorry
should
for.
watch
Well,
them.
you are already. You're an internet sensation, Tom.
Oh boy.
Hmm?
Anyway.
Oh, I was kind of just singing in the background about black socks anyway. Don't worry about me.
Oh, okay.
It was that song. Black socks, they never get dirty. The longer you wear them, the stronger they get. Sometimes
The more
I
sturdy.
think I should wash them.
Gee, I haven't heard this song
But
before.
something inside me says, no, not yet. Not yet.
That's kind of a cute little song.
It is.
So this is the native language on Mars, is it?
Well, okay, so this is what I was looking up. I was trying to see if I could find what it is that what happened is the two main characters in this movie, the actors, Paul Manty and Victor London, decided to use Mayan words or Mayan language as the alien language because of the mythology that Mayans are somehow connected with aliens. So,
wow, that's I never
so
knew
that's
that.
where these words come from.
I learned something today. Awesome.
I did too, but I'm trying to learn more. I was trying to figure out exactly the origin of this, but I can't.
Okay.
I can't.
I
I don't
thought
know
you
how they did this.
I thought you were going to say you were going to, learn the Mayan language, but that probably would be kind of difficult.
That would be difficult. I wouldn't mind getting a little more information on how they came up with it, but apparently they became really great friends on set. And so I want to get to the part of the book where they talk about
Oh.
that
Hmm.
at some point. But oh yeah, Franco says Fanny was a popular name until the 1950s over here. Yeah. And that's me in grad school. No laundry and wearing the same clothes. Yeah. Yeah, when I was in college I had clothing issues too. And yeah, the Time Prophet says retard was a common word when I was younger.
Well, people used to use it as a general insult to one another, right? Like, when I was a kid,
Oh,
But
I
Frank
mean,
Franco
like
Walker says.
I didn't hear it
Oh
all the
Lord,
time, but you'd
I
hear it
didn't
once
mean.
in a while. Sorry, Joe.
I'm of a mind that if you use a word very specifically to incite an emotional response, that is what words are for. And so there are times, like if you're going to use it accurately and people respond negatively to it, that is not my concern. But if you're going to use it and you're using it for a reaction and people say, you can't say that word, I kind of sit back and steeple my fingers and say, exactly why I used that word.
Oh. Franco Walker says, "Oh, the irony! An American teaching someone English when they can't speak it themselves. This is a joke. I'm only joking. I've been drinking for 12 hours," says Franco Walker.
Oh, no.
Liquids?
That's a long time.
Could you please read this
Well,
from Princess Fiona, PvP?
Okay. It seems like replacement words, phrases have about 10 to 15 years until someone decides they are just as offensive as the term they replaced. For example, handicapped used to be politically correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
in
it's
the
like,
90s,
yeah.
that's what they said.
And now it's like what it's like physically challenged. Is that the current phrase?
Well, it went from handicapped to handicapable, and now what is it? I don't even know.
yeah,
Handicapable.
but what do you call the parking spots?
Oh, handicap
What do you
spots.
call wheelchair parking spots?
They're still called handicapped as far as most people I know refer to them.
Like, I don't know what the vernacular is for the blue parking spots with the wheelchair logo.
I've
See
always
us out
thought of
there.
them as handicap parking spots.
But
I
that
mean,
would
do
be
they just
politically
say
incorrect based
well?
on what
Do
you're
they just say
saying.
disabled now, or what? I don't know.
I
Well,
don't
but
know.
disabled is sort of counterproductive. Like, they're not disabled; they are differently abled, which is another
That's
way
it.
that they said
That's it. That's the way you're
a
supposed to say
differently
it now.
abled parking spot. Is that what I actually have to
Differently
say? This is so retarded.
Oh, this is ridiculous, guys. Seriously.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
I wonder if Futurama
I
based
want to
their
say the
Martian
handicap
on
parking
this
spot
film.
so that I can help the handicap people into the grocery stores. Like, I want a specific vernacular so that I am helping the people who need it. And every time I try and help the people who need it, it's like, you're not using the right words. And it's like, well, fuck it. This is
Franco
boy.
Walker says, "I wonder if Futurama based their Martians on this film." Oh, right, because they do have Martians living. Yeah. Yeah.
fire
Anyway.
retardant, electrical retardant.
Right. Princess
Like, it
Fiona says
is.
we still use the verb retard in many scientific contexts. Yeah. So it means to
Mhm.
slow something down.
Yeah.
Every time you use the brakes in your car, you are retarding your speed.
Mhm. You can really fold a thong, says Princess Fiona.
I wouldn't
Can't.
know.
I think it's
don't know
can't.
anything about that.
No, you
Oh.
can.
I don't have
I
any
used
of
to
those.
date a lady. Yeah. No, see, and Fiona corrects herself by saying you can't really fold a thong. I
A
have
thing. She said a
folded a
thing.
thong. It's tough. It's kind of tough. It's like it's like folding a special occasion napkin, but you can do it.
Yeah, you can't do like a origami with a thong.
Yeah, you make a little swan. You pull the nose and the tail goes crazy. Just the underwear, not the actual person wearing it.
Oh, and
Sandra
Sandra
says,
Feliciano
goodbye,
has to
Scott's
go.
being filthy.
Okay. Goodbye, Sandra.
There are no bad words, only bad syntax. Yes, it's how you use the word. It's very important.
Ooh, oh my.
I've done both.
Inform on and if you use it the wrong way, then you will be
Disabled parking. I think disabled is derogatory in the modern vernacular.
I don't think it's derogatory. Princess Fiona says, you call those parking spots a $500 gamble.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You can't. Don't go in them. Those are stalls you should not rest.
Could you read this from Sci-Fi Nation?
Who? Me?
I think it's you.
Yes.
All right. While the people of Mars are rained down upon with black snow and ash,
From the
Sci-Fi Nation
meteor.
says, in Michigan, they are called handicap accessible parking spots, and the plates and mirror hangers are called handicap plates and placards.
Yeah. Thank you, Sci-Fi Nation. And yes, like Scotty was saying, the ash is raining down from the meteor that crashed. And so Friday is saving Draper from the ashes, and he's running out of oxygen. He's going to die. So Friday gives him an M&M, which is actually an air pill.
It's an oxygen pill.
Yeah, the oxygen pill delivers the oxygen directly into his blood.
Yeah, it makes it so that as opposed to having to ingest into your lungs the gas of oxygen, you take the pill and then it just absorbs. You sort of get oxygen through osmosis.
Yes, and I didn't think of Lord of the Rings when you mentioned it, but now that you have, this reminds me of the part where Sam carries Frodo. So in this case,
I've never seen that shit.
Friday is carrying Draper.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing Friday's a strong, strapping dude.
Yeah, he is. Also, good morning, Canadian Spider-Man. Great to see you.
Hi,
Spidey.
Thanks for being here. Scotty
Canadian
folds
Spider-Man.
his thongs. Confirmed, says Sci-Fi.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any thongs, but when I've been tasked with folding ladies' underwear, I have folded thongs. And the lady who I was folding the thongs for, she was like, I can't believe that worked, but thank you. Also, Canadian Spider-Man, thank you for showing up in the chat. I would like to say that Commander Draper in this movie, as far as I'm concerned, is the 1964 spitting image of Canadian Spider-Man. He is an adventurer in another world, and I was rather taken by his handsome and strapping nature. Everyone knows I have a crush on Canadian Spider-Man.
Yes. And, well, you can't... Canadian Spider-Man does have a travel channel here on YouTube, and you can't travel any further. Well, you could travel further than Mars, but it is quite a destination. But if you want to go to where they actually filmed this movie, then you could visit Death Valley.
Why would you send Canadian Spider-Man to Death Valley? There's nothing there. It's called Death Valley.
I don't know.
Hey, Canadian Spider-Man, you're a friend of ours. Why don't you go to this place that is desolate without resources? Can you just go wander for a bit? That'll be fine. We'll pick you up in the morning.
Yeah, go wander through the Valley of Death, literally.
I was just kidding.
Yeah, it sounded like it, or it sounded like a plot. Canadian Spider-Man, I'd be careful. I think Candy DeRoman Jill wants to kill you.
You don't have to go to Death Valley. I was just saying.
You don't have to, but maybe there's a cake there. The cake is a lie.
The cake is so moist. Anyway.
What? You said moist. Someone. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well,
Uh,
I was just saying that because you can't visit Mars right now, but you can visit Death Valley.
yeah, I don't think I'd
I'm
really
not
want
saying
to
you
visit Mars, to be
should.
honest.
I'm not saying you should.
I don't get all
visit
these
Death
people who
Valley.
want to fly to Mars. Like, I wouldn't want to go to Mars at all. Like, it's you die, you know?
Well, yeah, right now, definitely.
Yeah,
We don't have a feasible way of having a colony there right this second.
well, that's the thing. And yet they still talk about sending ships to Mars, and I'm like, well, what are you
I
going to
mean,
do when you get
well,
there?
what do you get? You basically just have to live in your spaceship the whole time.
Yeah,
They don't have the technology to build the dome habitats or anything that we
exactly.
imagine when we think of a nice way in order to live on Mars.
Yeah, I think I'd go bonkers if I had to live in a spaceship for the rest of my life.
Canadian Spider-Man says, "If you guys sponsor me, I'll definitely go to Death Valley and run around in the suit and film it, of course. Not sure if there's anything to swing from though." Oh yeah, that's a problem. See, you need to be able to swing. You're Spider-Man.
Oh, true.
There's the hang up. Can't do it. Canadian
Canadian Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
don't do it. It's a trap. It's a trap.
It would be a hell of a road trip. Jill says so. Go, go, Spider, go now. Well, thanks for the promotion, Jill. And Scotty, you know we admire you too, man. Romance continues. And there you go. There's the chat. And there is Draper. He's passed out. But he's going to breathe because of the oxygen pills. It'll be fine. And so this is the moment, now that Friday has saved his life, that they're best friends forever. And Matt Clat, I think that's his word for God. And then I think they talk about God and things. And they have their own interpretations of it, obviously, and they connect on that too. They even
Hey,
quote from the
it's
Bible here.
the Valley of the Shadow of Death. Gee.
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah, so yes, definitely. And so they talk about where he's from. He's an alien, obviously. He's from Weetawin, which is in the Orion belt, or the Orion constellation.
huh.
And he says that we call it Alnilim. Is that a real planet? I wanted to look that up earlier, but I never did. Let me look it up now because I'm on the live stream and I want to see. Yes, it's real. Alnilam is the center star of Orion's belt in the equatorial constellation of Orion. So yeah, so that makes sense. Oh, okay, 2:30. That means that I don't necessarily have to go yet, but I need to get through the movie. Let's get through it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to head out in about 15 minutes anyway, because my laundry will be getting close to dry by then, probably.
Okay, so this is we're almost at the end of the movie actually, because this is where the enemy is trying to capture Friday, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
come back. And so
The ships.
yes, we do get the ships again, and yes,
Yeah.
it's the same stock footage of the ships we saw earlier.
The
So
ships are
yes,
pretty cool looking.
there are several parts of the movie that are repeated, but it's
I
an
like the
efficient
ships.
use. Me
Ships
too.
are neat.
It's an efficient use of the time to be able to show the same footage over and over again. Why not? It looks good. And these are the indoor sets. They pulled the rocks in and out to make it look different, and so they would film a little bit, move them around a little bit to make it look different while they were filming inside.
Wow.
And we get more of those beautiful matte paintings.
Yeah, that's
by
really
Whitlock.
cool. Nice.
I really do like the paintings. It really builds the world.
Definitely.
And so if you were worried about Mona's still around. And you do worry about Mona when you're watching this movie. There's no going around it, because when you don't see her around, you're like, hey, what happened? Where's Mona? She's okay. She's here. And so they're trying to get the bracelets off because they're electronically tied to the invaders. And they also talk about Percival Lowell's back in the day when astronomers were still studying the skies with the telescopes. This guy called Percival Lowell looked at Mars and he saw these little crevices in Mars and he thought maybe those are canals left by ancient Martians who were trying to save the Martian planet, but they couldn't do it. They were trying to save the water and they were trying to do whatever. He had a big imagination about what was going on in Mars. And so the idea of these canals are brought to this movie. And so they say that this part where they are right now is the start of the canals and he's just and that's where they are. And so that's another way that our imagination is bigger than what the reality of the situation is. And Scotty R37 says, I'm in the chat. Hi, Scotty R37 in the chat. Do you have a ETA for being in the panel or are you just in the chat? That is a scary statement.
Yeah, well, he's muted himself on here, so.
Do they hug? Who hug? Who's hugging? Why are you putting up YouTube? Why are you putting a link to a YouTube? What's going on with this Scotty R37 guy? Oh, 3 minutes. He's smoking. Okay, great. Oh, he put on a song. I can't. I can't play that. I can't play your song, Scotty. Not live on air. He sent me Steve Miller Band, Rockin' Me. Okay.
Yeah, you'd probably get a copy thingy if you did that for sure.
Of course. And so they're going through. Let's just get through the movie that way. I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and they just used stock footage of a volcano. So the writers of this movie were imagining an active planet with active volcanoes. And so there are volcanoes on Mars, but they're inactive. And so then they just show the stock footage and then this fire effect for when they're inside filming. Still works for me though. I think it's cool.
Yeah, well, I guess this probably wasn't a huge budget to have to work with. I'm guessing so.
But they did know about the polar ice caps on Mars, so and that is where the water is on Mars. So that's where they're going. And he says, "Buddy, yeah, slang for brother." And so at this point, just in case you didn't know, they were best friends. So they're headed to the ice cap for more water. And of course, get away from the enemy.
That's a great hat, by the way.
Oh yeah.
It's hilarious.
Well, yeah. Okay, so that's from they found where he found this plant material, and he's been using it to weave stuff. Like he's been making his own clothes and blankets and things. So
Jeez. Wow.
yeah.
I never knew they taught that in astronaut school.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, they teach you how to sew and make clothing, and he's made clothes for Friday. I mean, how nice is that?
That's great.
No, I do like that. Good point.
That's pretty funny.
Well, they know that he knows that Mona doesn't like clothes, so he didn't make any clothes for Mona. Oh, this is the part where they talk about God. Oh no, the other word wasn't God. It was some other word. The word for God was Kai Hek. I can't say it. Never mind.
Kai Hekia Ipek, something like that.
Thank you.
That is a tough one.
Oh.
Oh my.
Okay, so then they get to the ice caps, and
jeez,
they make a. They say Eskimos, which really offends Scotty. If you were here, he could be offended, but that they should say Inuit.
Inuit, yeah, that's the term.
And so they do make a wall, like an igloo wall. to keep warm.
Mm.
But they don't have to worry about that for too long because eventually everything is set on fire and they get warm anyway. But what happens is an avalanche occurs, so we get a stock footage of an avalanche. And so they get buried by the avalanche. And they're actually underneath in production, they're actually under snow. So,
Ouch. That must have been
so
chilly.
yeah, they were Paul Manty and Victor London were really under snow, and in order to breathe, they what did they have? Straws? They used straws and they stuck them out of the snow to breathe.
Really?
Yeah,
Straws. Wow. Talk about low tech movie making.
yeah. Let me see if there's anything in the book about it.
Oh, you have a book
Remember-
on this?
Yeah,
movie?
yeah. I've been kind of reading it, but I want to
Wow.
see.
There is a reverence to an all-powerful being.
There is.
I
You
want
to
to
go back
say,
to that?
well, no, I kind of want to pronounce it because I had it so on the nose. Like I swung and
Okay.
hit it, but it's not kettle chips, but it's something like that.
Yes.
Look at
That's
all the
pretty close.
destruction.
Yeah, we're going through
They
it quick.
do. They talk about an all-powerful being.
There
Well,
it is.
there we
I
are.
had it.
A divine good. Yes, that's right. Kai Hetchepek. Cal Hetchepek? Kai Hetchepek.
I think you had it right the first time.
Kai Hetchepek.
Kai Hetchepek.
That sounds great.
Yeah, that does sound right. Yeah,
Cheers to Kai Hetchepek.
excellent.
Definitely.
Meanwhile, back at
Meanwhile-
the soundstage,
Yeah, they're
special
actually,
effects happen.
Yeah, they're actually buried under snow.
Well, and this is sort of the bonding that we get between
Oh.
Friday and Draper. And
And-
and this is one of my only real complaints because I did like while watching it, I was sort of nonplussed. And as I thought about the movie, I was like, this is a great adventure, like of a man stranded on a planet who, through his own ingenuity and discovery, sort of makes things happen.
He does.
And
if you're
it's-
worried about Mona, she's okay.
well, Mona's fine. Mona's always fine. Although we don't see Mona at the end.
Yeah, we do. She pops out of the snow.
Makes sense.
There's her tail, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, there she is. See?
Yay, look at her.
So,
I mean, them.
did I see a spaceship at the end there landing or something?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, that is
Yes,
the rescue.
that's-
Oh,
Yeah.
so the Earth people come to rescue them.
Yes.
Oh, happy ending.
Yes, happy ending.
Well, and Commander Draper had the technological ability to communicate from the surface to orbit. And so, yeah, no, he gets rescued. I don't know what happens to Friday.
I imagine he probably goes with him
Why?
because they're buddies.
But I don't
Well,
know
what is he
how
going to
where
do? Go
he
back
can
to
breathe.
slavery?
Yeah, well, I guess. Like all of his compatriots were killed, weren't they? Because they go back to the queer. What is it called? The queer deck. The queer deck.
Yeah, that word did kind of just sound like that. But I think maybe he could live in the mountains where the air is a little thinner.
So you're just gonna leave him there alone?
What? No, other people live on mountains.
Yeah, well, I would hope so. I just don't want Friday to be on his lonesome.
Me neither. You're right.
Well, that's
And
why
you know what? Sorry,
that's why I think
MVP
Draper probably takes him back to Earth on the rescue ship.
Exactly.
turns into
I'm sure Friday would, get along well.
That's
on
what I
Earth.
was saying.
He'd figure something out.
That's what I was saying. He'll find a nice mountain community where the air is
Yeah.
a little thinner, and he can
Maybe
breathe
he'll
just fine.
become like a mountain guide or a shepherd up in the high mountains.
he would find the Sasquatch.
Yeah, so the credits are very short. I could read them all. Directed by Byron Haskin, screenplay by Ib Melchior. He left the project early, he had to go do something else, and so he had lots of aliens and crazy stuff, and the monkey was actually going to be an armadillo, but he had to leave, so they scrapped all of that because they wanted it to be a little bit more accurate to what Mars might be like. And the rest of the screenplay was made by John Higgins, based on a story by Daniel Defoe. Of course, it's based on Robinson Crusoe, but on Mars. Produced by Aubrey Schenck, executive producer Edwin F. Zabel, starring Paul Manty as Commander Christopher Draper,
Handsome.
Victor London as Friday,
One of the first Klingons.
Yes. Adam West as Colonel Dan McReady.
Batman.
And the woolly monkey as Mona. And we know him
Barney.
and Barney. And did you know, while you were away, were you listening to hear that Barney had a stand-in and that she was a female monkey and she was a bitch, apparently, on set? She was upset all
See?
the time. I don't know. I know what that means, but
well, no, but like there's something like when you get animals that are not necessarily domesticated and you want to use them in your television or movie, there's a certain point where they are amicable and they're playful, but then they go through puberty and they are unruly. Like I remember this happened with Marcel in Friends. Like there have been instances where chimps and orangutans, and it's like, oh no, they're quite docile until they want to start making the love. And then they will do that at any opportunity. So yeah, there is something about the maturity of animals that is somewhat dangerous in production or humans playing with them.
That could be. Yeah, I wondered maybe if she had passed that point and that was the problem.
Well, you'd think they'd want to get, like a trained monkey that had, sort of been trained to work in movies. I mean, I'm sure they can train them to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just going to go grab a wild monkey out of the jungle and throw it on a movie set and hope for the best. Like that might be a bit crazy.
You want a monkey who's been in the business. That's
how Jill got me on this channel. That's how I got on the internet. I'm just a wild monkey that someone said, "Hey, Scott, get a microphone," and I was like,
I never knew Jill, ventured out into jungles. Wow, I learned something.
Yeah, well, this is the Captain Pinity channel.
Jungle Boogie. Hey, Herc.
Canadian Spider-Man says, "Yep, the way things are going for now. So to finance it, we'll have to smuggle BC weed into Texas."
Oh, that could be risky.
Spider-Man.
That could be risky,
Spidey.
I need a Cessna.
You could get a long prison term if you did that.
Yeah. You want to wait until it's actually it's going to be. I think it's going to change here soon because medicinal is already opening up. So once that happens, the rest will be soon to follow.
Yeah, it seems like politicians sometimes are the last ones to get it, aren't they?
No, you know what we're gonna have to do? I'll collect all the drugs. Canadian Spider-Man, don't tell anybody. So I'll collect all the drugs, and then I'll fly to Mexico, and then I'll run across the Rio Grande. I'll meet Jill at a Taco Bell or a 7-Eleven. I'm not sure which. And it'll be fine. And then I'll do a light jog northward.
A light jog. This
You're gonna run all the way back to Canada.
This sounds
lightly.
This sounds like a B movie plot to me.
It's the Terry Fox story, but it starts in Mexico.
But there's too much feet going on, and you don't like Lord of the Rings, so you have to have.
Well, you know what?
Oh, by the way,
whenever
guys,
you bring up Terry Fox, there's always too much feet because he only had one foot.
Guys, I'm going to have to head out because my laundry's probably going to be done in about 3 or 4 minutes. So,
well, don't forget the dryer sheets.
I hate to have to leave early, but anyway, it was nice being able
I'm going to stop
on.
it soon anyway. Thank you, PvP, for stopping by.
Yeah,
man.
No worries.
I hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you go.
I hate to leave, but I have to because I've got an appointment in about an hour's time. So I still got to, get the laundry and have a quick shower. So
Yeah. Do
Yep.
you have anything you want to promote or talk about
No, not really.
that's going on this week
Yeah, I'll just go
on
check out my
YouTube?
channel, and if you like music, there's lots of
Well,
music on there.
you're
Anyway,
you're on the weekly Lost in Space panel.
Right,
oh
with
yeah,
pop culture curator.
yeah, Lost in Space, yeah. And then I'm probably going to be on here most Fridays now whenever Jill's on. So
And you
Oh
you're
no.
you're also going to be on Gorillas. You're going to watch a sausage movie or something
maybe,
from what
I
I
don't know.
understand.
I got, there are things I should be doing, so I'm undecided about my weekend yet. But I'm
Okay.
still planning on doing. If you're available on Sunday, I'm still planning on our Sunday watch party.
Oh,
If
right.
if
Okay.
you're
So
into it.
the Sunday watch
But
party
that's
is on.
private.
That is, well, it's not exactly private. It is public. Like it's a public watch party. I don't live stream it, but it is
Yeah,
in a public
people
watch room
people
on
do
Cosme.
people do pop in from time to time
Like
in the
nobody from YouTube pops in, but like people who are
well,
randomly
Scotty.
browsing stuff on Cosme, just like if they see it, they can be there.
I
So
remember
it's
when
just
Scotty.
it's like a separate platform.
Yeah, Scotty pops in your Star Trek watch party on Saturdays once
Yeah,
in a while. I've
sometimes.
noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Anyway,
Puerto
guys,
And
Rico,
I
like.
I'm a big fan. Yeah, all
yeah.
right. Well, then get the
Anyway,
hell out.
guys,
Okay,
Stop fucking
bye.
saying
it was
goodbye.
fun, and I'll see you probably soon. Talk with you soon at some point. So, anyway, have a good one.
Okay.
Cheers.
Yeah,
You too.
yeah.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
weekend. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
So, Scotty, when you said do they hug, who are you talking about?
Commander Draper and
Oh,
Friday.
Friday. Oh.
And they
Do they hug?
do. I think
They
they
kind of
do.
they do hug. Yeah.
I think that they're appreciative of
They
their
do appreciate
survival
each other, yes.
cooperation.
Oh, okay. Oh, you answered my question there. I didn't know.
I
That's
do
just where I
want to
was.
say, now that PvP is gone, like I sometimes brush up against and disagree, but I really enjoy PvP.
Yeah, PvP's a pleasant guy.
He is. He's got a lot of I don't know if it's his YouTube channel. I don't know how to advertise that, but he's got like a great jukebox. He's got a good music collection.
Mhm.
Yeah, excellent taste, except for the rush. And everything, like, yeah, no, it's always a pleasure to see him.
Yeah, it was good to hear from him. And Scotty R37 says that volcano stuff was awesome. Such great special effects.
Mhm.
Adam West called it a lava jungle, right?
Didn't he? When he was like, I'm
Oh,
not sending Mona
yeah.
down to that lava ocean or something.
Swamp. A fire swamp.
Yeah, it was a
Fire.
lava swamp.
Yeah. And let's see what else we got. I got to get going soon.
Yeah.
You say Munchin Martian hemp.
That's exactly what he does. He makes the garments, eats the food.
Mm-hmm. And well, when he cooks the food, he turns the sausage into a hallucinogen. Unknowingly.
He only does that once.
Yeah, once he does that, he realizes I'm not going to do that again. It's either a hallucinogen or food poisoning. Hallucinations from food poisoning, because it could be bacteria. I don't know. That is released from cooking. That doesn't make sense. I don't know what I'm saying. Jim says,
I don't know. Heat releases.
Once the show is over, I'll be doing some recording of the next video called Repair.
Nice.
Oh, and Princess Fiona says, have to move to lurking mode, but I'm going to keep listening. What an excellent stream, Jill and Scotty. Thank you. You're welcome.
Cheers.
And I really enjoyed this movie, and if you haven't seen it, it's really, I think it's worth it.
Well, and like we had a brief conversation earlier, and you were like, I'm not going to rate it.
Yeah. Well, I rated it on IMDb at 9 out of 10.
Yeah. And I would say for a 1964 science fiction movie, I'm going to give this, I would say, like, I would give Forbidden Planet a 9 out of 10.
You would too?
And that's a 1950, right?
1964.
When was Forbidden Planet?
56.
Yeah. So this movie is not as good as Forbidden Planet.
Oh, you're rating Forbidden Planet. Forbidden Planet is a 10 for
No,
me,
I'm
though.
giving it I'm giving it context.
Gotcha.
I'm saying, like, for an old-timey movie that is sort of pushing science fiction, I think that Forbidden Planet is better.
I agree. But
Robinson Crusoe
why do
on
we have to
Mars,
compare?
because it is part of the same genre during the same era, it is not an inappropriate comparison in my mind. I think that the earlier
Okay,
film
fair enough.
is more adept and more interesting. It has a structure as opposed to Robinson Crusoe on Mars.
Well, and it also has more characters, so it's a completely different kind of movie. This is an isolation movie, so there's
I'm giving this
only
like a
few
7 out
characters.
of 10. I'm giving this a
Oh, that's
7
fair
out
enough.
of 10.
That sounds more like what I thought you'd rate it. I think that makes
I
more
think
sense.
it's a movie. Would I buy it on physical media? No. Would I watch it? Yes. I would recommend watching this. I would recommend this film. If you're a fan of sort of mid-century science fiction, yes, this
I
is
think it's
worth
a lot
your
of
time.
fun. I think
I
it's
do
a
too.
good time. And I don't think it is. I think it's really well done. Anonymous
I
says,
think it diverges into science fantasy.
yeah, sure. Most science fiction does. Most science fiction has elements of science fantasy in it. Even the best and hardest science fiction will sometimes have those elements. And they just make things more fun. Franco Walker.
Well, that's my new notification sound, is Jill saying the best and hardest.
Anonymous says they're gonna want to dissect him.
Yeah,
what?
no, Friday's
No!
getting cut apart.
No! Oh no! No!
Yeah.
Anonymous, why? They can't.
Oh no, they're totally interrogating him and finding out what star
So
system
he's not going
from.
to live peacefully on a mountain town.
Nope.
And helping tourists learn how to climb.
Nope. Not unless Draper, protects him.
Yeah, they have to live together then.
What, like a couple?
No, the Odd Couple.
Do you think Draper is married to a lady?
I don't know. Well, we knew that McCready was married, but we didn't know. We don't know the marital status of Draper.
He was married to a woman from 1895. What was her name again?
Eleanor.
Elizabetha? Yes, Eleanor.
Was it Eleanor?
Sure.
What sort of name is Ibn Mekor? I don't know. Hello to Herc130. Hey, Herc130.
Hey, Flyboy.
And Sci-Fi Nation says, Jill of the Jungle. For some reason. Donnie says, also in a week, the CW is moving from one Seattle TV station, the Paramount-owned KSTW11, to the other Tango-owned Kong 616. And Herc says, it's good to hear your voice, to Scotty.
Thank you.
Hey, Jim. I wasn't sure you were still here. I should have known better.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's lots of URLs in the chat. We've got Susan Dolan's Mouser Brigade, Donnie Pearson's channel, and I Stream Elements. I informed Stream Elements. Oh man, no, I thought I fixed that. It didn't work. Yes, I do know that it changed, Donnie. I thought I changed it, and it didn't save. I'll change it again, Donnie. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm almost done post-producing my upcoming Don blog regarding the new Power Rangers Cosmic Fury Morpher toy from Hasbro. Stay tuned. And he says his channel is Don P1 now. So that's
I completely forgot that Don or Ranger Power was our good friend Donnie P. And so more phenomenal. Please like,
And no, I
subscribe.
meant to change it, and I did. I changed it yesterday, and it didn't save for whatever reason. I apologize. I'm gonna make sure it saves next time.
You're
Or
retarded.
either that, or I'm gonna blame Stream Elements. I changed it, Stream Elements. Anyway.
Can you just do me a favor, Jill?
Yes.
Can you just say that you're not? Can you say, I'm not retarded?
Oh, I'm not retarded. I know I'm not retarded.
There you go. You're not.
I don't even have to defend myself against that.
I think most people in the chat know that you're not.
Yep. Oh.
They think I am, which is dope. That's fine.
Oh, here's another troublemaker question from the book. Why the hell was it so important to those aliens to recapture Victor London? It was the whole point of the second half of the movie, and it doesn't make any sense. Would you like
No, it doesn't.
Ib Melchior's phone number? I'd be happy to give you that number. I think there were a lot of questions that eluded me on that picture. Part of me didn't want to make trouble, and the other part of me wanted to justify everything. Oh, man. Oh, so he doesn't know the answer. Only Ib Melchior knows this answer. Damn it. I thought that was a good question. It doesn't get answered. Okay, let me see if there's anything else really interesting here. Oh,
everyone in the chat who finds out that their comments have been dismissed, it's like, oh, I wasn't interesting.
What happened?
Oh no.
Who wasn't? Who did I skip? What happened?
I don't know.
I'm
just being. I'm a burr in the side. I'm a thorn in the ointment.
If you want to read the chat, you can. Lemon Pie says, Don, you may want to change your intro video. Oh yeah, she's been tested. What happened? No, I was just
absolutely smashing.
Okay, so I'm just looking one more time through here. What? Why is it? Oh, because I have to keep borrowing it. It only allows you to borrow this book once every hour. So every hour I keep having to reload the page.
What book?
It's a book about I don't know. It's called I don't know what it's called. I'd have to get out of it to figure out what it's called. I'll tell you.
Do you know who wrote it?
No, I'm gonna tell you at the end.
So it's a book that you don't know what it's called. You don't know who wrote it.
If I go to the front of the book, I'm gonna lose my spot.
You can't put a bookmark?
No.
Huh. Seems weird.
Did you ever work with Vic London again? No, I never did, but I have a suspicion he dated an ex-wife of mine. That's almost like working together. What?
I think he banged my sister.
Oh my gosh. Let me see what else is interesting here.
Whoever wrote this episode should die!
Is it possible to say anything nice about the experience? I was there for 5 weeks and fell in love with John Finch, who is a wonderful British actor. We were joined at the hip. We were like a couple of fraternity brothers. What is he talking about? What experience? Working on Lurking Fear. It's a different movie. He's talking about different movies. Okay, so now. So you're finding out that Robinson Crusoe is a very special experience for other people besides yourself. I guess so. Maybe the reason I loved it so much at the time was because I've always been very young for my age. At the time I was 27, 28, but I was a kid. And that's why I was so enthralled. I was so pleased with everybody. I was absolutely in total gratitude heaven. Everybody on set was so sweet and delightful to me, and I felt so fortunate. I never took any of that for granted, and a lot of things, like not putting a jacket on when I hit the ice cap, those things got lost in my enthusiasm for the work. I was saying, whatever you want, I'll do. What can I do? I was this kid with the best red wagon, and I had having a ball with it. And there we go. I think that's a good thing to end on, because I got to leave anyway. And thank you guys for being here. And thank you, Scotty R37, for providing your opinions and commentary on this wonderful movie. Lemon Pie
I
says,
still have
"Done."
no idea why you put up with me.
Huh? Because you're funny.
I still have no idea why
interesting.
you put up with me, but I appreciate that you
And
invite me.
you challenge me, and you make things more interesting. You bring up really good questions. You think outside of the box, and sometimes you bring a lot of color and emotion and to an otherwise.
Stop it. Stop flattering me.
Okay,
You know what? I was fishing for compliments, and now that I got them, I'm pissed. So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And I will.
You're a
if the
bright boy.
Avengers call me again, would I take up the challenge? Absolutely.
Hooray. Scotty just wanted to clip that. And Franco is tired. And Matt G is here at the end. Hello and
Matt
goodbye, Matt
G.
G. Take it easy, everyone in the chat. Thank you, Jill and Scotty and PvP. Thank you, everybody.
Cheers.
This ended at the perfect amount of time.
Great.
And
Can
so
we end it?
Yeah, we can end it. Goodbye.
Just have a
everybody.
slow dance. Enjoy your time. Go have some life. Make it so that you can touch somebody.
I'll play the. Have a great weekend, everyone.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.